Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here, ready to dive into the Battle of Gaines' Mill. That's our next grand battle, as they're called in this game, Ultimate General Civil War. This is the legendary mode, Confederate campaign. If you are new to the game and not familiar with it, the way the campaign works is you have a series of what are called minor battles and then a grand battle at the end of that. Those are the ones where you earn the most prestige, the most men and reward money. They're also the time that leaders that are wounded are basically reset and they're healed after those battles. So anybody that's been wounded in the last several battles, I'll get them back after this fight. So these are the ones you have to win. Well, you don't have to win because Shiloh was one of those and I didn't win that one. But as the game progresses, it gets more and more important to win those battles. So we definitely want to win the Battle of Gaines' Mill here. Now, looking at the breakdown, I've got about 6,600 more men than him, about the same number of guns. Now, the last campaign that I played, which is on Brigadier General difficulty, I actually had about double his manpower. Had about 46,000 men to his 23,000. So things are a little more even this time. And the last time I fought this battle, I only had 1,800 casualties. I don't expect it to be that easy again, but I am going to use the same strategy that got me that result, which was basically to hold back until my flanking attack gets into position, which will happen. There are 3 phases to this battle. That flanking attack will come, I believe, in phase 2. So I'm basically going to move ahead with skirmishers up to about right here. His main line's going to be right here in these fortifications. So I'm going to wait until the battlefield opens up. I get my attack on this side, and that's when I'll march forward. We'll see how that works out. I want to try and keep my casualties as low as possible. So it's going to go kind of slow, but eventually we will get into position. Shout out to Ashley Hyatt. I believe John Brown's Barkers is the name that you want for your artillery. Please correct me if I'm wrong about that, but if I recall correctly, that was the name that we went with. Other folks who are patrons, your units will eventually show up as we get some more 2-star units on the battlefield in future campaigns. So we're going to start moving forward, and I'll just move the whole mess forward at once here, and then we'll just kind of tweak things along as we go. We're going to run into some skirmishers at some point here. Just with it being Veterans Day weekend, I just want to give a shout out to all of you, not just Americans, but around the world. If you have served in the military for your nation, we appreciate you. We appreciate what you do and the sacrifices that you make. Being an American, take great pride in our nation's military. I have not served myself, but I am grateful to all of you who do, as well as to your families. We recognize that the freedom that we have is definitely not free, and it has been paid for by the sacrifice of many over the centuries. All right, we're going to run into the U.S. Sharpshooters, Hiram Berdan's unit here. This is not going to be pretty, so I got to be careful here. I don't have the numbers to match up against these skirmishers. Although it looks like we're doing okay, holding our own here. Had a comment on one of the previous videos about my use of supply. The fact that I typically turn off my supplies during the battle until needed. And, you know, this is one of those personal preference type of things. I wouldn't say that one way is correct. The reason I personally do not allow my supplies to just automatically resupply and basically keep everybody topped off is because my supplies are limited. And there are certain units that are going to be more, darn it, I turned them around by accident, that are going to be more engaged than others. And if I just allow my supplies to just resupply everybody, what happens is then I run out of supply, and then the people who need it, who are most engaged, end up not being able to have it. So I wait until my units start to get low, and then those are the units that I go ahead and resupply because they're the ones I feel need it the most. Just a personal preference. I know there are a lot of different ways to do things like that. Alright, so we've pretty much cleared the skirmishers back across the river here. So, going to be some downtime here because I'm not going to advance all the way against his main position, at least not yet. So just some thoughts about the historical Battle of Gaines Mill. Of course, June 27th, 1862, this is part of what is known as the 7 Days Campaign. It was a series of battles fought over the span of a week to the east of Richmond. This was the first major offensive against Richmond by the Union since a year earlier, almost a year earlier at First Bull Run. It's hard to believe if you think about it, but yeah, there really was basically no major battle fought in the Eastern Theater for almost a year. That just shows you how much they recognized after First Bull Run they needed to change. Now, this is interesting, and this happened the last time I fought this battle. He brought his supplies down. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to be able to get them across in time, but we're certainly going to try here. I'm going to try and grab these supplies that are foolishly sitting right in front of my army. And then we'll pull those back across. Now, that'll certainly help the supply situation I was just talking about. Come on, get through those woods and grab those supplies. No, don't let him get away. Run! My problem here is I don't want to run into his units, which I know is the point of this. He's trying to get me pulled across. Ugh. Supplies should not be able to go that much faster than my skirmishers. Come on, run, guys. This is where you want to have cavalry. And I have cavalry coming, they're just not here yet. I may not catch up to them without running into his skirmishers, of course. They're going to get away, it looks like. Unless he gets caught in these woods right here. Alright. Well, it was a valiant effort, but that's kind of what I think he wanted to have happen there. Alright, we'll start moving forward slowly. So the 7 Days Campaign, this is This is Robert E. Lee's first victory as a Confederate field commander. Joseph Johnston was wounded early in the 7 Days Campaign, which, as I was talking about earlier, this was George McClellan, who's now in command of the Union Army, brings a massive Union Army, 100,000 strong or more, up the peninsula from where Fort Monroe is, down there at the end of the peninsula in Virginia, down around Yorktown, that area. In fact, there was a short siege at Yorktown where a very small number of Confederate troops held off the entire Union Army for a brief time. McClellan eventually works his way up to within sight of Richmond. They can hear the bells ringing on the churches in Richmond from where they are. And he basically stops. He starts sending back messages to Washington saying he needs more men. He's outnumbered, which was ridiculous, but it's not completely McClellan's fault. He was fed some really bad information by the Pinkertons, which were the people that he had giving him his scouting information. But for whatever reason, he hesitates, and kind of the way with the rivers and everything that around Richmond, his army gets broken up into pieces, and Robert E. Lee, who takes over when Joseph Johnston gets wounded, is able to attack parts of the Union Army including here at Gaines Mill, where one of the very few times that the Confederates had a significant advantage in numbers in a battle, more than I even have in this battle right now. It was also probably the largest mass assault of the entire war, bigger than Pickett's charge, bigger than the Confederate attack at Franklin, bigger than the Union attack at Fredericksburg. About 32,000 men in a mass attack on the Union position here at one time. It was about, almost 3 times the number of men who assaulted at Pickett's charge. It's one of those battles that kind of shifted the initiative. It allowed the Confederates to then go on the attack, and of course once they drive McClellan off the peninsula, they move north, and you have the Second Battle of Bull Run, followed by the Battle of Antietam a few weeks later. So we're going to hang right here. Yeah, actually we're going to hold right there. We're going to wait until this time runs out, and then we get to the second phase of the battle. In terms of victory conditions, in order to win, we need to hold either Bosun's Woods or Bosun Hill and McGee Hill. And, of course, McGee Hill is not even on the battlefield yet. I believe that's over here somewhere. Let's pull back to the woods. So we have to hold one of these. I'm inclined to kind of go for this one here. This was the battle where the Texas Brigade under John Bell Hood kind of made a name for itself for the first time. And it's also a place where Dan Butterfield, Union General, received the Medal of Honor. Dan Butterfield's best known, I believe, as a brigade commander, might have been a division commander. But he's the man who wrote Taps. If you're not from the United States, Taps is what is played at all of our military funerals or at any event where we're honoring our military dead. It's also played, I believe, at the end of the day when the flag is taken down at the end of the day for military folks, I believe. I could be wrong about that. I think there might be another song that is done for that now. So military folks out there, correct me on that one. I might be wrong about that, but it's definitely played anytime we honor our fallen dead. But it was written by Dan Butterfield, who received the Medal of Honor here. This was also the first battle where observation balloons were used by both sides to scout the enemy positions. There's kind of a neat you see that in the TV series The Blue and the Gray. In fact, one of the main characters in the film, or in the miniseries The Blue and the Gray, is chosen to go up in the Confederate balloon, which then gets broken free from its moorings and ends up falling into Union lines. And that character is captured, taken up to Elmira Prison in New York. So now we can start to see his defense, and you can see he's getting men into position. So we're going to kind of let his artillery fire for a while here. Maybe use up some of their supplies. Some point here fairly soon we should be getting the reinforcements that are coming on the right flank attack, and that's when I'm going to start to get into position for my own attack. I'm going to back these skirmishers up. Oh, look at this. Okay. So he advanced across to try to deal with my skirmishers. One thing I'm definitely noticing is, I don't know, and I've mentioned this before, I don't know if it's just the patch, the latest update of the game itself, or if it is the playing on legendary mode, that the AI is much more aggressive, and he does things that you wouldn't otherwise have expected him to do. So I'm going to have to go ahead and start bringing up some of these brigades just so I'm in position to defend if he gets more aggressive here. I'm obviously outnumbered right now. I've lost about 350 men. He's lost slightly less than that. But I'm in a holding position until I get these other units. Gonna go ahead and bring John Brown's Barkers up. I'll bring Siegfried up as well. Just want to make sure that I'm not unnecessarily losing men because of these skirmish fights. Skirmishers are all inflicting more casualties than they're taking, and that's what we want to see. Well, most of them anyway. Still waiting on that the flank attack to get in here. I'm not exactly sure what time that happens, but I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. He's bringing another brigade across. That's fine. I'll bring some skirmishers out here. Tenacious Danes, do your thing. I'm going to get your men back to you here. I got to be careful because I don't need them taking massive casualties this early in the battle. Alright, so there's not a lot happening here, so I'm going to drop out until I get my flank attack or until something of note happens, so you're not getting too bored just watching everybody sit here. Okay, so here we are. We've got the an hour and 16 to go. We're getting the flank attack into position now. We've got another 12 brigades coming in. I'll start moving them in. We'll break off some skirmishes here in the meantime. I'll move them slowly, and then I'll just kind of adjust accordingly as things move along. Mainly this right side for me is just holding him into position while I hit his flank. Eventually we will move these guys up, though. I'm going to hold the Paper Collar Brigade here. I'm going to start bringing these guys over this way. So this is the other objective. I need to take these two right here to win the battle. I mean, I can take this one here instead of this one, but these are the two I'm going for. Alright, time out, time out. We got skirmishers out here on the wing. Let these guys hold until we bring up some more. Just looking at the numbers, I've got him by about 5,000 men, 5,500 right now. Of course, that's going to change. He's still got another 20,000 men out there he hasn't brought into the field yet. Alright, let's see what's happening here. Get these guys moved up a little further. Whoa, Butler skirmishers, back up, dude. Don't want to get hit on the flank by these guys. I want to get into these woods, though, so I'm going to drive him out of there. No, Hicks, you're going this way. Alright. So, the first two sections of the three, there's basically, like I said, 3 parts to this battle. The first 2 for me are all about getting into position to launch the attack during the 3rd phase. And I have these cannons shut down for now, because I want to wait until I launch my attack before I get them into position again. Alright, we gotta back Rice up. He's had a rough time, it looks like. I'm bringing all these guys over here because I want to make a push from this side. A lot of these units in my 2nd Corps are the green units that don't have a lot of experience using inferior weapons. So I don't want them to be what I rely on for this attack to succeed. Now I'll wait until phase 3 to push my assault forward and take the objectives. Alright, I want to deal with these sharpshooters once and for all. We're going to charge them. Alright, I want to pause real quick. I just want to see what's happening here, because we've still got a ways to go. I need to get these guys down into here so I can push forward and take that objective. And he's going to be getting reinforcements, so I've got to be cautious there. Still got to get these other units into position, and then I'll start swinging this over. We gotta eliminate these skirmishers. Okay. me check the condition. These guys are all still conditioned in the 90s, so that's good. I'm going to start moving them forward. Another volley or two should eliminate those skirmishers. Alright, they're gone. Alright, we will be in position ready to launch this attack here, right at the end of this phase of the battle. Okay, here we go. We've got just a couple hours to do this now. I don't believe we have any more reinforcements coming, so we've got 2 hours. Now's the time when we have to go all out and make this happen. Let me see what the numbers look like. Right now, I've still got him by about 5,000 men. He's got more coming. I just don't know when they're going to arrive. He's got a lot more guns than me on the field. I'm not sure where the rest of my guns are. They haven't arrived yet. But it looks like I've lost about 1,600 men. He's lost almost 2,000. Got to be cautious right here. Because he's got these guys out on my wing. I'm going to turn Kirk that way just to cover that side. Get General Johnston up here. I can't wait too long because I know he's going to get reinforcements. Now here's the thing. He's turning to face that threat. So now is when we come down. But I'm going to kind of hold him here as long as I can. John Brown's Barker's having a nice day, 300 kills. Of course, we're keeping them back. They're howitzers. They're better used for up close, but eventually we're going to get them some big guns for that unit. Let's go ahead and take this objective. Oh, no. You're going that way. Got to hit these batteries before they get too many shots into me. I still keep wondering where his reinforcements are, because I know he's supposed to have more men than... Oh no, you know what? He doesn't. He's only got 20-some thousand. Alright, so that's everybody. Alright, Price, hold up. No, 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 no. Snakefoot Brigade, you gotta stay this way, guys. Here come the last of my troops. Basically, it's just the rest of my artillery. And my cavalry. Gotta hit this battery again. Alright, let's see here where the numbers are looking here. Alright, so I've lost about 2,600 men. He's lost about 3,000. Numbers are pretty even. I'm not a fan of that, but unfortunately with my numbers as low as they are to start, I knew it was going to be that way, assaulting a fixed position. We're just going to sit tight right here. I've got the objectives that I need in order to win. So I really don't need to do more than this, and I'm inclined to hold tight because I want to build my army up for the next battle, which is going to be significantly more hard at Malvern Hill. Go down and hit this brigade, or hit this battery. Just keeping an eye on. There's one. Oh, it's supplies. Okay, excellent. I'm going to back these guys up. I don't want to get too close to these guns here. I'm pretty content with the gains. I don't want to overdo it. Oh, look at this. My 10-pounders are getting surprised by these sharpshooters. Not a problem. We'll deal with them. There was another question that was asked about supply. Somebody mentioned or asked the question about. Let me back these guys out of there. Whether or not you actually get the supplies that you capture. I believe the answer is yes to that. Here's what happens when you go into a battle with a certain number of supplies. Let's say 20,000. Say I have 20,000 supplies that I take into the battle in my first corps. Whatever I use out of that is automatically replenished out of my funds at the end of the battle, so that it goes back up to that same exact amount. Now, let's say I capture 5,000 supplies. Those 5,000 supplies will go into that total, so then that means that's 5,000 fewer dollars that comes off the top at the end of that battle to replenish my supplies. So yes, capturing the supplies does matter, it does help. Alright, I gotta get the Tenacious Danes out of here. I don't like them taking unnecessary casualties that I have to replenish. So we're just gonna kind of sit tight here and let this thing play out. I don't expect any more action on the field. If anything does happen, I'll come back with it, but otherwise we're gonna just sit tight and wait for this to play out. Alright, so nothing really else happened after that. Obviously, I wish my casualties were lower than this. but we'll take it. This is legendary difficulty, so I need to expect that's going to be the case. And anytime I can have lower casualties than the enemy and win a victory, I will absolutely take it. So, looks like we captured a couple of Napoleons, captured 4 10-pounder parrots. That's huge. I need more of those guns. Rescued a few things, got some supplies, not much else really. So very little, but the main thing is here that I've got another Brigadier General. I've added $155,000, 2 career points, 15 in reputation, and 12,000 soldiers. Those are all vital for me moving forward. And I definitely need to put these into Army organization. That gives me an extra brigade per division, or per corps. And now I'm very close to being able to put 2,500 in each brigade, which is going to be really important for me moving forward. So I'll have that after this next battle. Taking a look now at what we're going to be facing at Malvern Hill, which is going to be a much more difficult fight. You can see his army's up to 94,000 to 99,000 men now. So I know he's not going to have that many here, but he is going to have more than he had in that last fight. So let's take a look and see what we're facing. 31,000. Okay, that's manageable. That's not real bad. It's a tough battle, though. So let's take a look and see what happens here. Right now we're at 27. We should be able to get that up over 40. Now his is probably going to move up as well. I don't know how that's all going to work out, but let's go ahead and start just doing some of the basics here of what we need to do. Let me look at my divisions first. Okay, all my divisions are commanded at least by Brigadier Generals. That's the main thing. Then we'll start getting some Brigadier Generals into my brigade command. We can add some new brigades now, which will be important. I want to look at my numbers as far as the weaponry that I have available to me. Got 1,000 1842s in stock and very little else. Everything else I'm pretty much going to have to buy, which is not going to be cheap. So let's go ahead and buy these Enfields, because I can spend 14 points and get some Enfields. Wow, those 10-pounders are nice too, though. But I'm going to start with those because I desperately need those Enfields. That gets me down almost. I've actually got a little bit of a morale penalty now, but early in the fight I desperately need these guns, so we're just going to have to deal with it. I'm going to keep these guns at 12 for now. Well, these ones are at 15 already, so I can't go lower than that. Just going to replenish the men that I've lost. You can see it's not costing me too much to replenish these units with rookies. Very little, in fact, and that's kind of the way it has to be right now. Should at least get some colonels and brigadier generals in charge of some of these units. These are regular farmers. That's not good. I'm just going to replenish everybody first, then I'll start looking at what I'm going to do as far as replacing weaponry. Paper Collar's going to probably need some veterans.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to quite go up all the way just because I don't have enough Harper's Ferries to do that. We'll get up to 1850. These guys are so close to being 2 stars. I'm going to go ahead and give them... No, I can't. Well, there's 2,000 of them. How many Enfields? I've got 3,500 Enfields.
Yes, sir.
So we'll give them 2,000 of them. And we're going to give these guys... the rest. No, there we go. Oh, I've got enough. I can buy some, so good. Even better.
Yes, sir.
We'll max them out at 2,000 as well. Anywhere I've got a major in charge of a brigade, we're definitely going to change that.
Sir, yes, sir.
At least get them up to a colonel. If not higher.
Yes, sir.
A lot of these units have farmers, and I really got to change that where I can. Let Let me look real quick at the layout as far as the deployment of these troops. So 2 attack waves, and then anything else gets thrown into a reserve. I'm not going to have a reserve, so he's up to 38,000 now. You can see that number climbs as I create more units. His is getting scaled up. This is going to be a tough battle because I'm attacking, and I just don't have the numbers in a lot of cases. I'm going to start throwing some of these units with farmers into these other divisions so that they're not all bunched up in one place. I can spread them out a little bit. What do I have? I got some palmettos here.
Sir, yes, sir!
Some 1842s. Okay, I'm out of higher ranking officers, so I'm going to have to make some changes. For example, right here, we can throw a major in there and put a colonel in charge of a new brigade of infantry.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so I've still got $106,000, and for the first time I'm getting myself in a position where I actually will have enough money to field all of the men, get them all into combat here. So that's actually a good thing, but I'm going to hold off on doing the rest until the beginning of the next battle, because I want to think about this a little bit, go back and watch my video from the last battle, see exactly what I did, think through it more before I spend all of my dollars and assign all of my troops. But as of now, still going to be outnumbered. You can see he's scaling up big time. As I throw men in, his is scaling up. He's now up over 41,000, where he was down around 30 before. So the more men I put in, the more he's going to have. But that's just the way it's going to be, especially when he's got 90-some, almost 100,000 men in his force pool. So probably do this next video later today. So by the time you guys are watching Malvern Hill, I probably will have already done, or by the time you guys watch Gaines Mill, I probably would have already done Malvern Hill. But as always, I welcome your observations, your comments, your questions, your criticisms. Use the comment section below for any and all those things. We can all learn from each other. As always, thank you for watching. Hit that thumbs up if you would. Check out some of the other videos, and we will see you again very soon.